Top of the morning, afternoon, and the evening to you, whoever you may be, wherever you may be watching, looking, or listening. It's your boy AntMoe, trapping out of bando. Oh, 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 oh. Let me with you, big baby. And welcome to Wayne's World. It's my middle name. You know what I'm talking about? So, this is an exclusive joint. You know what I'm talking about? This is brand new. I just did one on Thursday, and if you have not listened to it, please, dear white people, go check it out. But I also am doing one right now on Saturday, and it is entitled GUNZ and BUTTA. Really to give you a quick little background, and first of all, let me stop to say this. Thank you to all the loyal, faithful listeners that rock with the boy, rock with the kid, rock with AntMoe, rock with Wayne's World Podcast, those who watch on the YouTube and those who listen on whatever social media or podcasting outlet. I greatly appreciate you guys. So let me say that first and foremost. Every Thursday, 8 a.m., those who are looking for that, get it. But if you are tuned in, if you're locked in, you can get it whenever, because that's just the way I've been feeling. So listen, something happened to me today, and it made me think about in life, the people that you run into, the missions that we all have, the missions that we all adopt at times that may not even be who we are. The pursuit of happiness, so to speak, the things in life that we chase after, and how they may vary from person to person. Somebody gave me some feedback from others today, and it made me think, and I got upset. And when I got upset, it made my mind race and wonder about some things that, maybe I didn't even have the right to think the way I was thinking, but I did it anyway. And I got brought back down by the realization of, you know what? At the end of the day, nobody should be able to affect how I feel or what I think. Because if who I am is who I am and it's how God has made me, then I should always hold on to the realization or the fact of it. And so it also made me think about how, even though this is fleshly, please hear me. This is a worldly concept, but it made me think about what I have versus what they have. Who I am versus who they are. What they've accumulated, their outlook on life versus what I've accumulated and my outlook on life. And so, format's the same, but I just definitely want to give you an in-depth concept on what this podcast episode is going to be about and how I have viewed it. You know what I'm saying? How I've wrestled with it. And so instead of me lashing out and being angry and saying whatever, I decided that I'm going to record and I'm going to give you guys something, because it may be something you've dealt with or a way that you've looked at life, and we still going to have fun with it like we do. You know what I'm talking about? And so, of course, we start with the intro, and that's what we're doing now. I'm welcoming you guys, giving you feedback. Please, as always, if you want to give me a topic, or, you want to say thank you, you want to, whatever, interact with your boy, elevatedsense87@gmail.com, elevatedssense87@gmail.com. You can leave me a voice memo on the Anchor app. That is anchor.fm/Wayne's World Podcast. You can donate on there as well, just in case you want to show your boy some love, support. You know what I'm saying? So we can upgrade and do some dope things. I'm all for it. So that's just some housekeeping, you know what I'm saying, for that. So we're going to take a little break, you know what I'm talking about, and then we're going to get into it. I'm not going to tell you what you're going to get these sports is going to be about, but you will get them, you know what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to tell you what the Momentous Moment is about, but just know it's coming. So we'll be back in 2 and 2, you know what I'm talking about? Peace. This ain't no intro, this that entree. Did that intro with Kanye and sound like Andre. Try not to turn my baby mama to my fiance. You know what I'm talking about? That's real life. Kim Folk, you know what I'm talking about? Shout out to Danny. But anyway, we back, man. And you know what it is. You're going to get these sports, bro. So I want to get back into these Cowboys. I know I talked about them a couple weeks ago. It was a hot topic. People had some feedback for me, like was on their social media talking about it. So this is what I propose. As we know, the draft is coming up. Dak Prescott is trying to get paid $35 to $40 million a year. The Cowboys are saying that they're going to franchise him for $33 million for the year. We all know that Dak Prescott is not worth $35 to $40 million. And it's no disrespect to who he is. He's a good quarterback. He's not great. He's not top tier. He's second tier. And that's fine. Can he win a Super Bowl for us, or can we win a Super Bowl with him? Yes, I believe that, but the pieces have to be just right. We have loaded up the offense to make sure that he is successful. We have, tried to put pieces around him, but he still hasn't got the job done. Game after game after game, when we needed him to step up and play big against teams with winning records and playoff teams, he did not get the job done. Also, he cost us the season essentially in Philadelphia, a team that had been hurt. They were down to second string everything except for their quarterback. Literally, the only thing they had was their quarterback. They had guys that had been cut from the team 14 times. That was a receiver that dogged them. The other guy, Sanders, the running back, he was okay. He was just a regular back that dominated us, like completely gutted us in a win or go home game. And so this is what I was talking to somebody about at work, and I proposed this. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Give me some feedback. Send me a voice memo. But this is what I'm thinking. We are number 17. Now, we could get a receiver. We can get Judy. We can get Judy from Alabama. We could get CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma. Or we could package Dak, right? Because he's a restricted free agent because he can't just walk. We could package Dak. I believe he's a restricted free agent. He may be unrestricted, but when I said it for the third time, but we could package Dak with the 17th pick and maybe a second rounder or a third rounder and move up to get Tua Tagovailoa. I think that's how you say it. Tua Tagovailoa, something like that. The quarterback from Alabama that got hurt with the hip injury. He wouldn't be ready to play immediately, maybe. He's still not did his pro day, and he's still not going to the combine because they haven't happened yet. But they're going to test his health at the combine. He's not going to do the 40, but I think he's going to do throwing drills, possibly. But he's definitely going to do a pro day. Now, what if we package Dak with the 17th pick in the draft, and a second or third rounder, and another player for a sweetener? We could package Byron in there if we want to move up and get your quarterback of the future. If his hip checks out, it will be a great move, and we could then upgrade the team still through the draft and free agency, because we are number 5 in the league with cap space for the upcoming league season. If we could get a cheap quarterback and then fill our roster with draft picks and free agency, we can literally continue to go out and trade for big receivers, get the defensive players that we need to execute to be a good team again. Jerry, Steven, whoever it is, please listen to this, consider it, and see what we can do. If you really believed in Dak, and if you really believe that he was the player that he could be, then you would have already signed him to the contract that he asked for. In this league, the quarterbacks get what they want. Now, you can either pay him heavy now, or you can pay him heavy later, but you're going to pay him heavy if you have to keep him. He's not taking a pay cut, and he's already said that he's not going to show up to play if you franchise him. So why put yourself in a predicament to scramble later on in OTAs and training camp when you can do everything you can to succeed right now? Guys, fellas, ladies, let me know. Is this a good idea? Does it make sense? Would you do it? What would you do? Let your boy know. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, y'all. Yeah, man. We back and we about to get into the meat of things. You know what I'm talking about? Like I said, something happened today that inspired me, and it made me reflect very deeply on myself, but then other people. That could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing, quite honestly. But, for me, I stewed over this all day. So it wasn't a good thing for me. But it made me think about Guns and Butter, baby. And so for those of you who don't know, if you've never saw Baby Boy, Tyrese is talking to Cuba Gooding's brother, right? And I forgot his name, Peanut or something in the movie. But Baby Boy is talking to, I'm going to say Peanut because I really don't remember that man's name. But Melvin is in the bathroom shaving his head. And Tyrese going in about how he don't like him. And, as long as his mama happy, he won't bleed. And, he was kind of breaking down at the very beginning of the conversation, his business and how he going to get people to come back, et cetera, right? And Melvin kind of stepped out and looked. And the Gooden brother, I think his name Omar Gooden, he kind of, he the G of the movie, so he's standing out there looking, and he like, they talking, and he like, you want me to take him out? I'm like, nah, he good, let him live, Pete. Like, it's so funny. It's so funny because it just showed me, even from that scene, and trying to tie it into what I'm telling you guys today, people who have a small or minuscule idea of life, what success is, or even who they are in retrospect to how the world really works, like, they can be such a hindrance to your life at times if you allow them to be. Now, Melvin had been to jail. He had put in work. He served his time. He was out trying to be a decent man. But the things he did in his past were bad. Like, if you skip ahead to in the movie where he had the quote-unquote fight scene where Melvin beat the brakes off of him, he started bringing up stuff he did in the past when he beat his kid to death and different things. That's not the man that he is anymore. But all that Tyrese could do was harp on that. And so, for one point, please don't allow people to hold you captive to your past. Like, so many times in life, we be thinking that when we hear people's opinion of us, it takes us right back to that place that we were in. When we did something dumb, or when we were in a different mindset, when we were hooked on drugs, when we were being abusive, when we were running the streets, when we were cheating, whatever that is, if you truly are a new person, a new creature, especially if you're a believer, don't allow people's opinion of you to take you back to a place that you were never meant to go back to. Don't draw from a well that's been dried up. Point blank, period. And so Melvin starts to get upset and really ends up beating the brakes, like low-key, like tossing this dude through a table and punching a hole in the wall, which was a very unnecessary scene, by the way. But anyway, so before skip back to the beginning of that, right? So Tyrese goes, and I hope he hear me. Hope that nigga hear me too. And Melvin come out, he said, yeah, I hear you. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I see you got your business going and all that. That's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you taking care of your business, whatever. But you got to understand the difference in things. In life, there's guns and butter, baby. There's the difference between a nigga with guns and a nigga with butter. And then he goes to break down what the difference is. Guns is real estate, stocks and bonds, things that appreciate in life. And then you got butter, car, clothes, stunting on the ground, holding guns up, you know what I'm saying? Like, blowing big weed, we got the kush on deck. All of that lame stuff that people cling to in life that identifies them as being a real one or a thug or I'm big crippin'. Listen, I'm not trying to knock nobody for where they're at in life, but what I will say is don't try to knock somebody else because they're not where you're at in life. And I think the problem that I took today with the conversation that I had is that because somebody's not a forward thinker, that they hold me to a standard that they don't even hold themselves to. And so it brought me to this thought. Yeah, and I'm mad. You know what I'm talking about? So it brought me to this thought. A lot of the times what we have, whether that is guns or butter, when we are prideful, when we are puffed up in what we think of ourselves or somebody else, especially if what we think of somebody else is not good, we start to compare what we have. So listen, if where I'm at in my life right now is butter, is the cars, is the things that don't really appreciate or amount to much of nothing, just a whole bunch of material things, I'm still just a nigga with butter. Like, it doesn't matter if the person that I'm comparing myself to has less of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as a man, like, I want to take pride in who I am. I want to take pride in where I'm going, but not what I have. Not when it comes to things that don't even matter. Even as a believer, like the stocks, the bonds, the things that appreciate, the cars, the clothes, none of that stuff still matters. Why? Because I'm an alien and a stranger in this land. That should not be my value system. How many souls I've saved, not saved me personally, but how many people I've led to Christ, how many people have I made an impact on by using my mouthpiece to affect people? How many people have I loved that weren't deserving of my love? My family, loving on them, caring for the widows and the orphans. Like, that's the stuff that really matters, or should matter to a believer. But we get so caught up in chasing after the guns, we get so caught up in chasing after the butter, that we completely miss the boat. I had to correct myself and realize that I'm not them. I'm not like them. It doesn't matter how I feel about what somebody thinks of me, because my purpose calls me, number one, to endure the things that I'm feeling, but then number two, to not get caught up in trying to compare who I am to somebody else. Because I tell you a funny thing about life, it'll learn you. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it'll learn you real quick. And so what I think I have and who I think I am could easily be flipped on his head by making a dumb mistake, or just because God reigns on the just as well as the unjust, I could lose everything. Not saying that I have much, but I could, God forbid, I could lose my family. I could lose my apartment. I could lose everything. And if I don't know who I am in Him, if I'm not secure, then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, man, like, I had to correct myself. And so that's why I said on my Instagram, at _Waynes_world, by the way, for anybody who wants to go follow your boy, I encourage people to not get caught up in comparing yourself or living and dying on the comparisons of other people, you to them or them to you, or who their opinions of who they think you should be, or, you know what I'm saying, like getting so offended by things that don't affect you in the long run. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, like, keep pushing, keep moving, keep striving to be great, keep striving to elevate yourself in life, because you're trying to leave a legacy, not for just your children, but your children's children. That's what a wise man does. That's what a good man does. Leaves an inheritance for his children's children. But never, ever, ever, ever let somebody's opinion of you make you feel worse about yourself. You know, yes, you can allow what somebody thinks or feels to make you feel a little bit better, but ultimately, already know who you are. Know what your purpose is. And if you don't know, start searching for it. My pastor always say, you may not know what you should be doing, but you know what you shouldn't be doing. And that's a simple place to start. You know what I'm saying? Don't surround yourself around people who gossiping, who negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, a man who is chattery is one of the worst things in the world, kinfolk. You know what I'm talking about? Like, long way with it. If a man will sit up and gossip to you like my granny used to on the phone with her mom, that probably ain't the person you need in your corner. I don't want to be talking and gossiping with no man all day, kinfolk. That at all, really. That gets under my skin, make my spirit feel low. You know what I'm talking about? So, man, I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I'm talking about? But I did want to kind of touch on this. You know, give me y'all feedback. What do y'all think about that? You know, have y'all dealt with that? Is that something that you struggle with now in your workplace and in your family? You know, comparisons or people having a lofty opinion of you that doesn't matter? Y'all let me know. I'm talking about. Yeah, man. So it's time for the momentous moment. You know what I'm talking about? When we bring everything to a close, we wrap it up. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So listen, man. In closing today, I just want to say that growth is a thing that should be always happening. You should never not be growing. You know what I'm talking about? That's a double negative, so turn it to a positive. You should be growing. You should never not. Wait, is that right? You should never not be growing. Yeah, I'm gonna just rock with that, kinfolk. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm long way out the mud with it. Long way, strong way, grown way. You should never not be growing. Always value yourself enough to introspectively look at yourself. To look at yourself introspectively. There's a lot of people who stay in the same place because they refuse to look at themselves. Somebody in relationship after relationship, somebody has told you something about yourself that has been consistent, but it's always the other person. If you cannot look at yourself and evaluate what the problem is and be able to accept it and move forward, you're never going to be able to be with anybody. Nobody's ever going to be able to deal with you. And you're just not going to be able to grow into the person that you need to be for somebody. And so that's just my 2 cents on that. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, in closing, I think the Cowboys should take Dak and flip him at the 17th pick in a second or third to get Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback from Alabama. And I think it'll work out. I think we can really build some pieces around the team if only Stephen Jones would listen to this. Also, GUNZ and BUTTA, man. I think it's important to accomplish things in life, but we also have to understand the side of the coin that we sit on, because to you, what may be something big and heavy hitting is something that people throw out of the house every day, that they give away. You know what I'm saying? So don't allow yourself to be caught up in comparison, because that is the thief of joy. I got a podcast about that that's actually pretty fire if you go back into the archives and check it out. And, stay tuned. On Thursday, 8 a.m., regularly scheduled programming, you will get monogamy. It ain't for me, bruh. Basically, I'm questioning the narrative. I'm questioning on behalf of somebody else, or giving my perspective on monogamy, if it's for the millennial or not. Were we meant to be monogamous? I got a couple thoughts on that, you know what I'm talking about? So y'all stay tuned. Look forward to the next podcast on Thursday. Like I said before, if you want to submit some topics, you got questions, I got answers, you know what I'm talking about? And you can email me at elevatedsense87@gmail.com. That will be in the link below. Also, if you want to support, you can click on a link within the Anchor app, and I will have my Patreon in there as well for you to click on. And leave me a voice memo on the Anchor app if you want to show some love. So I love you guys. You know what I'm talking about? Make me tear up in my heart to know that y'all steadily rocking with your boy. And y'all know what I say before I end it. Life is hard enough. So please don't just live elevated. Until next time. Until Thursday. You know what I'm talking about? Peace. I holla.